This is an interesting thing that happens in cruising. An opportunity exists for parents to basically get rid of their kids while they go out off the cruise ship to a cruise port, leaving their kids on board in the care of the cruise professionals, the cruise line. And I guess I'm glad I don't have to do this anymore. But I do know somebody who is faced with that decision, and I was curious to hear what his opinion was on it. Interesting show for you today. Just going to share a few topics about cruising with kids, and what you're looking for when you're picking your first cruise. And yeah, this is Derrick from Island Time, fellow content creator, and I basically asked him the question: should the cruise lines be watching your kids? Yeah, let's talk about it. It's tough. So I'm at the point in my life, my kids are, and happy birthday to your son. I mean to say that. Yeah, my kids this year will be 23. I have six. They'll be 23 years old to 33 years old. And so when we started cruising, they weren't little kids anymore. So I'm really fascinated when I get to talk to someone who is cruising with younger children. I know you've cruised a lot on Carnival Cruise Line, but I know because of your business, you've also researched a lot of other cruise lines and you've cruised other cruise lines. Can you talk a little bit about what do you feel like some of the best cruise lines to cruise on with children are, and maybe why?
Absolutely. Yeah. And I'll say this, and Tony, you probably know this. You've cruised extensively through a lot of cruise lines, and I share this with my clients. 90+% of what goes on in the atmosphere that is trying to be created among different cruise brands is the same. There's a lot that is similar, but there's a few things that's different. And I think, accommodating kids and families is one thing that is different across cruise lines. And so the two really that stick out to me is Royal Caribbean International and Carnival Cruise Line. They do an awesome job, a phenomenal job. Even starting before your cruise takes place, you can pre-register your kids with both cruise lines to get them ready and to get them enrolled in their Camp Ocean and their adventures there, and then to have a service of or the option for these cruise lines to help watch your kids. And there are some people, we see them on social media, right? If you don't watch your own kids, you don't need to bring them to the kids club. You brought them, you need to keep them. But that's not always the case. For us, ours are with us during the day, all day. We have dinner together. The kids club at Carnival and Royal both open up at 7 o'clock. And so we take our kids after dinner at 7 o'clock, and then we enjoy 2 or 3 hours. We go grab a couple drinks, go to a comedy show or whatever it is. But the option to have this service for cruise lines to watch your kids, to babysit your kids, to have activities for your kids for free during the day is awesome. And Royal and Carnival both, one thing they do really well is if you're uneasy about leaving your kiddos, if you're unsure, they will give you a phone. They will give you a cell phone. Here is the phone. They'll give it to you for the entire cruise. You don't turn it back in every time you go. Here's your phone. Go enjoy your evening. If your child is upset, if we can't console your child or something like that, we will call you. And so that adds some comfort as well to some parents who's like, well, I don't want to leave my kids. They may leave them for a couple hours and go enjoy themselves. And so, and then I wanted to mention too that a lot of families don't realize this or get involved with it, but there's so much that Carnival and Royal do in particular that involves the whole family. They're not just kid clubs where you drop off your kids, I'll see you in a little bit and go, but there are scavenger hunts, there are parties at night, and they keep them short, 30 or 45 minutes. But the whole family's invited to come to this party to create a craft, something to take home that you could put somewhere, in your home and remember your cruise by. And we've gone to those activities before, and they're like not well attended at all. I mean, there might be a handful of families every time, whether it's middle of the day or at night. And so I encourage families, check out the clubs. Don't be afraid to leave your kiddos a little while. Take the phone. They will call you. But then also get involved with the different story time and craft events and scavenger hunts. We've had a lot of fun looking for 20 items on the cruise ship. The first one to find them, take a picture, and come back wins. That's a lot of fun. So I'd encourage people to do that.
Okay, so I'm going to delve a little bit into the controversial. I remember
Yeah.
a story from a few years ago where there was a mom who was off the cruise ship, and her kids were on the cruise ship.
Yes.
And there was some concern whether or not she was going to make it back to the cruise ship, and the kids were on the cruise ship. What do you think about this? Do you think that if you have small children, do you think it's okay to leave them on the cruise ship during a port day in the care of the cruise line while you go out to port?
This has always blown my mind. Both parts of it. One, for cruise lines to take on some risk, responsibility, most definitely, of we will watch your kids. You're going to be out of pocket. This is like you're going out of town. We will watch your kids. You go do what you want to do. Go to the beach resort, go shopping, whatever you want to do. You know what time you have to be back on. Pick up your kid when you get back on. That service has always blown me away, and I've always thought there's no way I could do that. I don't care how much I needed a break. I couldn't do that. The second part is exactly what I said. Parents, and they take cruise lines up on this offer of, okay, yeah, let's leave Johnny here, and I'm going to go enjoy myself, and I will see you later. I still can't believe that cruise lines offer that. There is liability, like you said, and I remember that story years ago, but then just everyday liability as well. With the child staying there, it's I couldn't do it, most definitely, but I'm surprised cruise lines still offer something like that.
I couldn't do it either. This conversation about kids, though, is an important conversation, especially to people that help others plan their vacations, which you and Amanda do. If somebody's coming to you, new cruiser, they don't really have any idea of cruise lines or cruise ships or destinations.
Yeah.
How do you work them through that process of planning their first cruise vacation? What are some of the things that you talk to them about?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think, a lot of times just trying to see what do you expect from this trip? What are you expecting from the vacation? Is it great ports of call? Are you wanting to see the most beautiful beaches in the world? Is it more of I want to be still, I want to relax, things like that? So trying to gauge what they want first off, and then trying to pair it with whatever cruise line I think is going to deliver that experience, or whatever itinerary is going to provide that experience. And then find a comfortable place where they want to stay, budget friendly, whatever it is, to make sure they find where they want to stay. But then I think where I think PVPs in particular, and some travel advisors kind of get a bad rap sometimes, is you get someone booked and then you never hear from them again. And I think that there are different levels of service there. I know Jenny B, and she's on top of it all the time, of being available to when someone says, we want to snorkel, and you as the travel advisor, their itinerary, for you to be able to suggest, hey, I've been to all these places a dozen plus times. I suggest you snorkel in Belize. They've got great snorkeling. Let me help you find an excursion. I think that provides a difference there, that a lot of places they don't get when you book on your own, or a 1-800 number of PVP. But so just really leading them through with them being a new cruiser. And then one thing, I mentioned this earlier and I never shared what it was, but encouraging after you plan this awesome trip and your client goes and they have a fantastic time, they come back and they say, we want to go again. I think letting them know, I know you had a great time, and we could book another trip, you're going to have a great time again. But encouraging them to try a different experience. They enjoyed that adventure. They enjoyed that experience. Before you take your third, fourth, fifth, 10th cruise with the same cruise line, let's let you try this one. It is almost the same, 90% plus the same. But try this experience. You may like it more. Or if you don't, you're still going to like it, but you will know next time, okay, I want to go back to this one. And so I think just providing that thought leadership there of trying to help them manage what they want, pair it with that, and then provide future experiences is one thing that I think we do a good job at.
Well, there you go. Just a piece of a longer conversation I had with Derrick from Island Time over at the La Lita Loca Cruise podcast channel. That comes both in audio and video form. So go to the YouTube channel if you want to see a video of Derrick and I's longer conversation, and we get into a lot of different stuff. He was just recently on the Icon and the Jubilee, and we talk about Carnival and Royal and a lot of stuff. Make sure you check that out, or you can get it in the audio form anywhere that you get podcasts. What say ye? Should you be getting off the cruise ship and leaving the cruise line, the kids club, in charge of your kids? Should you use the kids club at all? What's your approach with cruising with small children? I would love to hear your feedback in the comments below. Stay up to date with everything going on in cruising by subscribing and hitting that like button. This is Tony for La Lido Loca, and until the next time, we'll see you on the Lido.